Donald Trump declaring on social media that he's officially called off trade talks with Canada. It's over an advertisement from Ontario's government that's been playing on American networks. Ontario's premier recently launched the $75 million anti-tariff campaign using a video with the voice of former President Ronald Reagan. It's from his famous address in 1987.
In a dramatic escalation of tensions, President Trump announced that the United States is terminating all trade negotiations with Canada, accusing the Ontario government of misusing Reagan's voice to criticize U.S. tariffs. On his social media platform, Trump claimed that the Ronald Reagan Foundation had confirmed that Canada fraudulently used Reagan's words in a way designed to interfere with the decisions of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs, he wrote, are vital to the national security and economy of the United States. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. The recording in question is Reagan's 1987 radio address, one in which he defended fair trade and explained his decision to impose duties on Japanese goods during a trade dispute. But Ontario's ad appeared to take selective parts of that address, seemingly showing Reagan criticizing tariffs and warning that they cause job losses and trade wars. The Reagan Foundation has condemned the ad, saying that the material was used without authorization and that it is considering legal action against Ontario. The ad closes with Reagan's familiar sign-off: "Remember, America's jobs and growth are at stake." Until next week, thanks for listening and God bless you. Canada didn't hold back. The country and its new Prime Minister Mark Carney have effectively declared a split with the United States. And this time, it's not rumor, it's official. On stage, in a stunning address, Carney made it clear that Canada is done depending on America, particularly under a Trump-led future. The U.S., as we all know, has fundamentally changed its approach to trade, he said. It is raising tariffs to levels last seen during the Great Depression. Speaking at CPAC, not the American Conservative Conference, but the Canadian version, Carney announced a major pivot. Canada will begin investing heavily in its own military, defense systems, infrastructure, and domestic industry. The message was clear: the era of quiet cooperation is over. For decades, Canada and the United States have been inseparable allies, bound by geography, shared defense systems, and deep economic ties. But Carney's words signaled a shift, a separation driven by one powerful, five-letter name that's rewriting global politics: Trump. Canada's trade increased by over 400% during that period, Carney said, and our economy doubled in size. But this decades-long process of ever-closer economic integration with the United States is now over. Many of our former strengths as a nation, strengths that came from our closeness to the American economy, have become our biggest vulnerabilities. As a result, the jobs of Canadian workers in industries like autos, steel, and lumber are now under threat. Our businesses are holding back investments, restrained by the uncertainty hanging over us all. He continued, our relationship with the United States will never again be what it once was. Even though, in this new world of protectionism, we still have the best trade deal of any other country, and we are working to make it even better. But this is no longer just about diplomacy. It's about independence, strategy, and a world recalibrating for what comes next. Today, two longtime allies walk away. Canada is officially breaking up with the United States. As Canadians, Carney said, we've relearned key lessons over the past year. First, we have to take care of ourselves because we can't depend on any one foreign partner. Second, we have to take care of each other because we are stronger together. And third, this is not the time to be cautious. Fortune favors the bold. Carney warned that Canada's greatest economic strength, its close relationship with the U.S., has now become a vulnerability as Washington raises tariffs and acts unilaterally. The president has rewired the U.S. playbook, he said, railing against foreign trade, deploying tariffs, and declaring that Canada's days of easy access are over. The implications go far beyond trade. What does this mean for defense alliances like NATO or NORAD? Could Canada begin to pivot toward Europe or Asia? How will Mexico respond as trade flows across North America are disrupted? Analysts warn that the shock will ripple through companies and markets alike. From autos to aluminum, lumber to critical minerals. This is no longer just about trade policy. It's about strategy, sovereignty, and the future of both nations. Economists are already warning that the termination of talks could harm both sides, hurting Canadian jobs and U.S. exporters. Canadian citizens, especially in trade-dependent provinces, are anxious about the stability of their economy. American firms, worried about access to Canadian minerals and resources, are uneasy. Across social media, the headlines are calling it a North American divorce. And the question being asked everywhere is the same. Was Canada pushed, or did it choose to move? Behind the scenes, senior Canadian officials suggest that the reality may be far worse than what's being said publicly. Historically, when tensions like this erupted during Trump's previous term, the situation behind closed doors was always more serious than the official statements let on. The last time Trump lashed out at Canada, it was over Ottawa's plan to impose a digital services tax. And just like now, he abruptly announced on Truth Social that he was halting trade talks. We began this story with a breakup. Now we end with a question. Is this truly the end of the North American economic marriage? For nearly a century, Canada and the United States have grown together, side by side, crossing the world's longest undefended border. But as Carney's statements make clear, and Trump's actions confirm, the era of unquestioned cooperation may be over. Canada is now staking its future on independence. The U.S. is drawing firm lines. What happens next will reverberate through global supply chains, alliances, and economies. In this more dynamic, more competitive, and more hostile world, Carney said, we must chart a new course, one that draws on our own strengths as a nation, relies on our values, and is inspired by our history. Canada has what the world wants. We are an energy superpower, with the third largest reserves of oil and the fourth largest of natural gas. Our electricity grid is 85% clean, and we have the capacity to power the clean economy of the future. And with that, a new chapter begins, one where two of the world's closest allies now find themselves on different paths.